Have you ever wondered how SOTA and Circadian make their heavy-hitting drum and bass tunes? Well, today I'm going to be showing you how they make their hits, like the Ciantello remix and Another World. Welcome back to Inverse Audio, my name's Denver, and we've got an absolute banger for you today. Drop a like if you enjoy, and leave a comment with what you'd like to see next, because we're always interested. But without further ado, let's get straight into the video. See ya. SOTA and Circadian both differ in styles of drums, Circadian's being thicker and leaning more towards dance floor and neuro style, whereas SOTA's drums take a more minimal approach, typical of the jump up style. We will combine the two styles to create a seamless blend containing energy and punch from both artists. If you're interested in the drums and presets used in today's video, check out the Inverse Audio Future DNB sample pack. This pack is full to the brim of high quality handcrafted samples and presets made completely track ready, meaning you can drag and drop every file straight into your DAW. We've spent hundreds of hours researching and crafting over 630 files to fit your production needs. You too can dive into the future of DNB and unlock endless creativity with Inverse Audio. Download it now over at inverseaudio.co.uk. Right, so first we've got our drums. I've laid down a really simple pattern here with varying top loops and shuffles. The first bit for the melodic bass, I've just got one top loop from the pack and just using this kick and snare pattern with an extra bounce kick. I'll play this for you right now. As you can see, the energy is built up in the second 4. This just adds a little nice element of change into the drop, bringing energy when I've got that hard SOTA bass going boom. That was a great example. But yeah, for the kick and snare pattern, just the standard kick snare, but with this little bounce kick, which I've made unique and just turned down on this beat here. That is only every 2 bars. So we've got on the first bit here, then repeats. I've also got these little effects downlifters and uplifters here. For every 8 bars, it will rise back up. And I've got it slightly offbeat. So when it hits, it has kind of a bit of an impact instead of it just hitting on the kick. I've also done some side chaining with the kick and the snare on the top loop. So I'll show you what I've got going on in effects. All of these, as you can see, our hats that we've got going on are being routed into a top channel or bus. And we've got some compression going on, just gluing them all a bit together. As you can see, it's just doing about minus 3 dB of compression there. Not too much, just making everything a bit more level. I have a soothe again, just to soothe out the sound, removing any harsh frequencies. And this balance, which is what I've used for my sidechain. So every time the kick and snare hits, it ducks down, allowing the kick and snare transient to hit through it. Works really well if you're trying to get the kick and snare to stand out. We haven't got any effects on our drums, but on the bus we've got another compression. As you can see, gluing everything to minus 3 dB, making sure the drums sound like they're from the same thing. To emphasize this, I've got a Valhalla room, which makes it sound like it's in a room almost. As you can see, I'll turn up the mix. And then if I turn the mix down, maybe turn the decay up as well. There we go. That sounds good. It makes it all sound like it's one thing. And one thing I'll also put on the end, which I always do on my drum bus, is I'll always add a clipper, which free clip is perfect for. It is free, as it says. And usually with this, you can just leave it at 0 dB, or if you want to push the master really hard, you can hard clip this separate. As you can see, I'm clipping there. But for this instance, I'm gonna just leave it at 0 dB, so nothing is peaking over that point. But yeah, that's actually everything for these drums. And let's move straight on to the bass. Today, I'll be zoning in on some specific basses using the Ciantello remix with my own twist. I have 3 presets from our Future DNB pack that allow me to create this drop. One being the melodic Reese, the sub, and the classic SOTA swoop. On top of the sound design, I'll show you my post-processing steps in both Serum and the mixer channel. Let's get straight into it. So we've got a bit of a blend here between Circadian's neuro stuff and SOTA's jump up stuff. So like kind of pre-drop section bass we have here. So this is comprised of 3 basses, and that is it, excluding sub basses. I'll show you the first one we have, which you might not notice, is this kind of neuro-y stab thing, which is one of our presets from our Future DNB pack. All of these basses, in fact, are from the pack. This one is a weird sub, and basically all it is 2 sines, both down 2 octaves. But this one is up 1, creating phase shift. So the sub kind of like modulates and goes, like moves a bit. All that is just one LFO that reduces the volume for it. A little filter on A. Some soft clip distortion, which just makes it a bit louder. And some compression. And with that, we have that nice little neuro stab. We've got an OTT at 24%, which is doing what you think it would. Just compressing it, making it sound a bit more fresh. Decapitator, distorting it just before red because we don't want it any louder than that. Basically trying to get everything out of this bass as we possibly can. Because it's a bit of a pre-bass and it comes in early, I have made it really wide. Apart from the sub, obviously, always got to keep that mono. But the rest of it, I wanted to kind of have a really like wide effect. So when it drops, like the stereo imaging hits you. I've added a rift as well to saturate it more, just turned up the drive. Frequency shifter, which gives it its wobble. Without it, it sounds like this. With it, you can hear the difference. Disperser as well, which does that as well pretty much. Another EQ to kind of grab the highs and mids that we wanted. And a Pro R, just adding some room reverb. Love this plugin so much. Full mix. Too much, but I just bring it down to like 25% or such. Yeah. And we also have it here just before the other bass comes in. Next bass we have is this like melodic Reese thing. Sounds kind of Cameron Crooked-esque, but I'll play this one for you. It's definitely not on there. So I'll break this one down. We have a basic mini wavetable down 3 octaves with a unison of 10, which is on FM from B to this wavetable, which is a basic MG with the wavetable position is at 92 to get this waveform. And that's down 2 octaves and up 4, which creates a really nice harmonic. To offset that, we've also added a fine tune of 20, which makes it wobble a bit. As you can hear, it's kind of like wobbling slightly. To emphasize that, I've got an LFO 1, which is modulating the fine tune of this wavetable, again, making it wobble a bit, and also makes this wobble in the asymmetric. As you can tell, it's not static, it wobbles around. Got a sub in here as well, some noise, some distortion, chorus to make it wider, compression to make it louder, and EQ to bring out a tone. That is in our presets for Future DNB. For effects, have EQ cutting out the sub because we're putting our own in there. Brought out some muddy frequencies. Got an imager on there as well to make it a bit wider. Another EQ, a rift to distort it a bit more. One thing you hear as it plays is that wobble. This is something I like to use in a lot of my tracks. And you can hear from people like K9 and Circadian use it a lot. It's this frequency shifter, which makes the wobble, and I've just automated that on the side here. So at the end, which helps it drop into the next bass really well. Something I love to do. Again, supported with a sub bass, which is just a solid sine wave. This next section here is comprised of 2 basses, one of which, again, is just a straight sine wave sub, and our like SOTA-y kind of, I don't really know what to call it, but just the bass that kind of like goes down is my best way to put it. It sounds like this. Again in the pack, which plays slightly after the sub is introduced. I'll break down this patch for you. We have a sub, which obviously we're not using because we cut that out. But all these presets are track ready, which is why we have these subs in there. So you can just drop it in there. But in this instance, I replaced the sub because I needed it to pitch down as well. So we have this wavetable down 3 octaves, FM from B to this acid wavetable, also down 3 octaves. And we have this LFO here, which controls the wavetable position of this acid. As you can see, it starts to like fold out. And this peak cutoff. So we have a peak filter, peak 12, which is just on normal. And the cutoff is modulated by this LFO, causing the swoop down effect. We have some dimension on here to make it a bit wider, some distortion, some chorus to make it wider again, some compression to bring it out, and some low cut on there as well. For effects, we have an OTT, disperser, decapitator, imager to make it wider again, another wider, because I really like it sounding wide, I don't know why. Pro R, a rift to distort it, again, bringing out a lot of the highs. Soothe, and a frequency shifter doing the same thing as our last bass that we've got going on. But yeah, that's actually everything for the bass. Next, we'll move on to intro and effects. Let's go. Both artists have incredible ways of building intensity, utilising all creative methods at their disposal. Rising kicks tend to be a recurring theme in their pre-drop sections, layered with both intense risers and filtered bass layers that lead into the drop. Following both Circadian and SOTA's lead, I will create an atmospheric bed with a repeating ARP that sits on top. I will also add a synth pad on top to add a more melodic changing melody that will filter out, allowing the risers and kicks more space to breathe. Without further ado and me mumbling, let's get straight into it. So quickly, I'm going to play our intro for you just to get a grasp of what's going on. So we've gone quite minimalistic, but really atmospheric, kind of similar to how both SOTA and Circadian do their tracks. In fact, we've introduced the bass prior to the drop. I've basically exported it, the bass pattern we have, and I have just filtered everything out of it, cut it all out, and add some reverb. I'll show you what I've got going on for atmospheres. We have this one atmosphere here. You can find tons of atmospheres like this in the pack. We've got tons of keys and stuff like that. This was one of my favorite ones for the key that we're in, which is D minor. I've just pitched it up 200 cents. Got a Pro Q3 bringing out the lows and another shimmer on it to kind of like merge the different patterns that we have. These bird noises. Love that. Big up to 5X for his field recordings. We have this ARP as well. These automations all bring things in slowly. As you can tell, the ARP is being brought in. Got a sub drop as well. I love that one. It's quite a tonal sub drop. Again, another atmosphere. I love this one. We've got some risers, a short whoosh effect. This sub drop is like insane. Has so much like tone in there. Then I have this pad, which is another preset, inverse future pad 4. So we've got a unison of 16. And this one, I've taken the harmonic out of it. So it looks like that, the first harmonic. And we've got our cutoff linked to our LFO1. So as you can tell, it's pulsing. And this actually automates the cutoff as well, as a slower rate. So as you can hear, it will rise up. Or it will anyway here, which I've automated it. Just really simple power chords. literally 2 notes. I tend to do that quite a lot in my intro because I like to keep it simple. Tons of impacts, tons of rises. Used our kick again, but I'll show you what I've done for here. I've gone to 37, which is where our kick's at. And we have this EQ. If you want to automate these parameters, just have to mess with this knob here. Then right click up here and create automation clip. I've done that for both the high and the lows. As you can see, it comes down. Opens up. Then this little glitch thing that I've repeated at the end here. And some ear candy. But yeah, that's actually completely everything for this drop. I'll briefly show you the second drop I have going on, which again is some variation, taking a lot of inspiration from the Ciantello remix that the 2 artists have made, which is an absolutely insane tune. We have like a second drop which switches up, kind of uses some of the same basses. Yeah, I'll play it for you quick. This is actually like, I've kind of gone for a bit of a neuro substab. It's the same bass as the one we had in the intro, just a little first stab. I've just made a different pattern for it. That's everything for this track, guys. Hope you've learned something. This was my kind of personalized remake of a Ciantello remix by Circadian and SOTA. Obviously very different, but I kind of added some like aspects from that. But yeah, thanks for watching. And I'll catch you soon. I'll play it out for you now. Bye-bye.